Are you preparing for IPMAT exam? So you must be aware that we have VARC section in our exam, and for that you should have the clear understanding of your syllabus, then only your preparation would be efficient. So, hi everyone, welcome to the platform of IPMAT by LPT. This is Kaushal Sharma, and here in this video, we will discuss everything about your VARC syllabus for your different IPMAT exams. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So, here we will be discussing the syllabus of the VARC. VA stands for Verbal Ability and RC stands for Reading Comprehension. So, let's move forward. We have the IPMAT exam. The major IPMAT exams are IIM Indore, IPMAT Indore exam and IPMAT Rohtak exam. So, let's talk about the questions or the sections of both the exams. So when we talk about IIM Indore, so we have two sections over here. The first one is verbal ability and the QA. That includes the short answer and the MCQs, right? Here we are talking about verbal ability that has 45 MCQ based questions. Here the sectional time is given for the VARC section. So that means you have to solve 45 questions in 40 minutes. Now for each correct answer you would be rewarded 4 marks, and for each incorrect answer -1 would be given. That means a mark would be deducted for every incorrect response. Now if we talk about the IPMAT Rohtak exam, so we have 3 sections over here, and that is QA, VA and reasoning. Now the reasoning part includes the logical reasoning, or with that we have DI as well. So here we have the similar VA topics. That means the topics that we have in IPMAT Indore exam, we have the same topics in IPMAT Rohtak exam. So that is why the students who are appearing for IPMAT Indore exam do appear for IPMAT Rohtak as well. Now the same goes on in the JIPMAT exam as well. Now here we do not have the sectional timing given to us. So in 120 minutes we have to answer to the questions of all the 3 sections. Now here too we have 4 marks for each correct response, and for each incorrect response 1 mark is deducted. Now that was all the blueprint of the questions that we have. Moving forward to the 4 pillars of VARC. Now what are the 4 key elements of the VARC? So whenever we talk about VARC, that eventually means the English language over here, right? So we have the 4 sections for that, and for that we have the grammar section, we have vocabulary, we have verbal ability, and we have reading comprehension. Now you must be aware of the reading comprehension. In this a passage is given to us, and it has some questions. So on the basis of the passage we have to respond to the questions given to us. Now these questions won't be having the direct answers. Here the questions would be tone and inference heavy. So that means that will require a proper understanding of the passage. Alright, if we move forward to the grammar section, we have sentence correction, we have error spotting types of questions. So for that we should have the proper understanding of the grammar basics, and next we have the vocabulary. In vocabulary we usually have synonyms, antonyms and idioms. We have rest of the things as well in these 4 sections that we will be discussing later elaboratively. So these are the 4 key pillars over here. Now moving ahead, let's talk about the grammar section. Now what are the topics that are very important if we have a look at the grammar section of our IPMAT exam? So first we have the error spotting and sentence correction related questions that we're gonna have. We can have the fill in the blanks based questions as well. Now the topics on which these questions are going to be would be of tenses and agreement, that is the subject verb agreement. Then we have active and passive voice, we have articles and prepositions, we have punctuations related rules, right? So if we talk about the grammar section, we have tenses. Now we can see articles and prepositions over here. That is the part of speech. So here you should have the understanding of parts of speech so that you can have the clear understanding of the agreement part of the sentence or the overall sentence correction and error spotting. Now moving forward, we have the vocabulary section. So in the vocabulary section, you would come across the questions that are related to synonyms and antonyms. For say, a particular word would be given to you guys individually, or it can be present in a sentence, to which it will be asked that you have to figure out the word that is similar similar in meaning to the word given, or opposite in meaning to the word given. So that means that these types of questions are of synonyms and antonyms. Moving forward, we have one word substitutions. Now they're not gonna ask what do we call this particular thing. So for that, we won't have to answer with one particular word over here. It means that you should have the clear understanding of the one word substitution so that you can use the correct use the word correctly. So here the vocabulary is not just analyzed by asking the synonyms or the meanings of the word. It can be also analyzed with the correct word usage. So you should have the understanding of the word usage as well, and for that the one word substitution is essential over here. Now moving forward, we have idioms and phrases that can be present in the sentences. Usually if I talk about the IPMAT Indore exam, these are usually present in the sentences, and as per the context of the sentence, you would have to figure out the contextual meaning of that particular idiom or phrase. Next, we have the contextual usage that we have already discussed, that a particular word that is present in a sentence. So in that case, we would have to figure out the contextual meaning of the word, because with the use of the word, the meaning of a particular word can change. So that means you should not be knowing only the exact meaning of a particular word. You should have the understanding of the contextual meaning of the word as well. Moving forward, we have word analogies, and then we have root word building. Now why it is important? The root word building is important if you want to improve your vocabulary. So this is something that you should be working on if you intend to improve your vocabulary. Moving forward, we have the verbal ability question types. So what are the types of questions that you're going to come across that may seem new to you guys? So first we have the parajumbles. So we used to answer the questions of the topic that was rearrangement of words in a sentence. So in that case, what we do, we arrange the words in a sentence that makes some sense. Now here we have to arrange the sentences in a correct order that makes the complete sense. Okay, so arrangement of the sentences of a particular paragraph is what that is the parajumble. Now moving forward, we have fill in the blanks. So we would have to choose the most suitable word for the sentence. Okay, next we have the sentence correction. That means we would have to figure out the errors of the sentences, and we would have to fix the sentence from the given options only. Next, we have sentence completion. Also, we have paragraph completion, in which a blank would be given to you guys in a sentence, or it can be in a paragraph as well. So you would have to choose the suitable word or the suitable sentence that makes the sentence complete or the paragraph complete. Now moving forward, we have the reading comprehension. Now let's understand what we have in the reading comprehension section. So in the reading comprehension section, we have the questions related to the main idea of the passage. We have author's tone, we have logical inference to the words or the sentences used by the author. Next, we have word meaning in context. So these questions are what? These are some indirect questions for which, if you think that you will read the passage and then you will eventually come across the right answer, that won't be the case if we talk about IPMAT Indore specially. So basically the questions that we're going to have in the reading comprehension would be inference based. That will require logical reasoning. It will require a lot of pondering, and because of that only you would be able to answer the questions, right? So next we have what are the things, or what are the things that you're going to come across in the reading comprehension. So here the reading and retention part constitutes the 40% of the passage. Here 30% of your accuracy would be analyzed by your reading speed. The understanding of tone and context gives the weightage, that is 20%, and then we have vocabulary in context. So that means if you want to excel at reading comprehension, so you would have to give priority to reading and retention. Then on the second, we have reading speed. So you would have to focus on reading and retention. Then you would have to improve your reading speed as well. You would have to work on the inferences, like the topics related to the tones, main idea, and so on. And the thing that stands last in the preference list is the vocabulary in context. So obviously you should be knowing the word, the meaning to the words that are being used in the passage as per the context of the passage only. Now moving forward, what is the VARC weightage? So 40% of your exam would be occupied by the reading comprehension section. We will have 30% from the grammar section, 20% will be vocabulary, and 10% will be the verbal reasoning. So these two sections are the major parts of this particular exam. So that means you would have to work on these key things at priority, and besides that you would have to work on the vocabulary and verbal reasoning part as well. So we are not supposed to eliminate any of these. So this is just to let you know what is the importance or what is the relevance of these sections. Now moving forward, what should be the path? So what you should be doing if you want to prepare for your IPMAT exam. So first thing is, start with your fundamentals. That means start with understanding the basic concepts of your grammar. So there is a notion or there is a misconception that is usually followed by us, and that is whatever that seems correct or that sounds correct is eventually the correct. But you will come across a lot of things that may seem correct but are actually incorrect. So for that you would have to work on your grammar so that you may not commit any sort of mistake in your exam. With that you have to work on your daily vocabulary. So we will we will cover the grammar and vocabulary section together. We are not supposed to leave vocabulary for the end, because at the end covering the vocabulary part would be no less than a Herculean task for you guys. So instead of keeping it aside for the end, you should cover these two topics all together. Beside that, we have daily reading. So reading is important because, as you have observed, that the lion's share is being occupied by the reading comprehension section. So that means you would have to read to improve your reading skills, to improve your retention, your attention while reading the passage. We basically, after some times, we lose the habit of reading, and because of that we are not able to read the passages or any written piece accurately and attentively. So you need to work on this. So for that you can start with editorials and you can build the speed, and with that you can work on the reading comprehension part. Next we have the topic practice, and that is we have various topics, like we have parajumbles, we have RC passages. So start solving the questions related to these topics. And fourth is weekly mocks. That means you would have to fix at least a day of a particular week where you would be attempting the mock test, right? So that is how you can cover your VARC section efficiently. Now, what are the key takeaways? That is, we would have to cover 45 questions in 40 minutes. Then we have RC section carries the biggest share of the marks that we have already discussed. The 40% of the section of the VARC is occupied by the RC itself. Next, we have grammar and vocabulary will build your overall speed. Obviously, you will come across many words that you might not be familiar to. So for that, you would have to work on your vocabulary so that you can understand the meaning of the words. Also, you may be able to comprehend the passages easily if you have the clear understanding of the words. Next, we have weekly mocks. So that means whatever you learned entire week, if you take weekly mocks, that will give you the understanding whether you are able to work or not. So that will give you the understanding what or where you stand actually, right? So here, stay consistent, read daily and review every mock. So mock analysis is also important. Check what sort of questions you have unanswered or what sort of questions you answered incorrectly. So analyze those questions, relate to the topics and work on them. right? So that is how you can work on a VARC section. So that was all in this video. I hope this session was helpful for you guys to have the clear understanding of your VARC section for IPMAT exam. So we will catch up soon later on the very same platform. Till then, stay tuned and stay connected.